Welcome to Season 2 of Difference Talks, brought to you by the LaBeouf Marketing, Communications, and Training Team. Our guests are inspiring people who share their stories of brand differentiation. Based on our book, The Power of Differentiation, our goal is to inspire 1 million people with the message that winning hearts and minds are the first step in growing market share. Now, on with the show.
I'm Barry LaBeouf. I'm the founder of LaBeouf Marketing, Communications, and Training. My partner over here, Marcus McMillan, is co-owner as well as VP of the company. And today we have an incredibly unique podcast because we have invited three wonderful people, Sister Mary Doolittle, Sister Mary Karen, and Sister Bethany of the Sisters of Life, and they're going to share the story of the Sisters of Life. And Sister Mary Doolittle and I go back 30 years when I met her on an airplane, and she changed my life. They're going to share what unique mission they are on. So welcome to our show. And I would like you to share the unique mission of the Sisters of Life, because it is truly differentiating and it has changed the lives of so many.
Thank you for having us. We're just so grateful to be with you today. We just love your podcast too, and love everything you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Share the story of the Sisters of Life, because some people out there don't know.
We were founded in 1991 by John Cardinal O'Connor. So as Sisters of Life, we're religious sisters, just like in the history of the church, who take vows and give ourselves totally to Jesus. So in poverty, chastity, and obedience. But as Sisters of Life, we even take a vow to protect and enhance the sacredness of human life. So in 1991, our founder, Cardinal O'Connor, felt called to raise up a community of women religious who would be like a spiritual response to what's going on in the culture right now, where there's kind of just an attack on life at every stage, and at every turn we see just an irreverence for the human person. Life here on earth is so sacred and beautiful, and each person is so precious and unique. And that is something that's very easy to forget day to day. We can get caught up in the rat race. We can get overwhelmed by our sin or by the mistakes we've made and think that we're unlovable. And part of the gift of being a Sister of Life in our community is to communicate to the world that you are beloved, you are seen, you are known, you were chosen, you're totally unique, unrepeatable, and irreplaceable, and nothing that you do could change that.
I met Sister Mary Doolittle on an airplane in the 1990s. And I thought I was going to have a great day, because I had nobody sitting next to me on the flight, and being a tall guy, I kind of spread out, and the door was about to close. And I looked down and I saw two shoes walk up, and then there was Sister Mary Doolittle. And she said, "Hi, I think I sit next to you." And she did. And for the next 3-4 hours, she helped guide me spiritually. And that has affected my wife, my daughter, my son, and our family. Now, one thing that is so fascinating about the Sisters of Life, and again, talk about differentiation, Father Cardinal O'Connor reached out and created this community, as we're calling it. And in many cases, the sisters were nurses, because he wanted sisters who were nurses to work with, in many cases, let's say a young girl who was pregnant, who was going through these difficult times. Sister Mary Doolittle, can you share a little bit about that? Because you are a nurse, and you met Cardinal O'Connor, I believe it was for tea or lunch, when he talked to you about this concept.
I had come to New York, and Cardinal O'Connor shared that he had been praying for 5 years to Our Lady to see if the time had come to start a new community, to bring back a sense of the sacredness of all human life. And that he had prayed to Our Lady to send older women, not just nurses, but older women that had some experience in the world, because he was starting a whole new community, and he felt that it might be more helpful that it would be started with sisters that had already kind of lived life a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like kind of could think outside the box and things like that. But let me tell you, our younger sisters are so incredible that I'm constantly learning from them. So what's happened is that each sister of life has the charism. It's just deeply embedded in her. And then it comes out in a slightly different way, like through her gift. It's so beautiful, like the way a special ed person looks at a person, the way I look at a person, the way everyone looks at a person. That is really the essence of our charism. We have a passion for Christ, and we have a passion for the human person. We work a lot with pregnant women, and they feel like there's no hope. And we give them a cup of tea, and we joke with them, and we say, so what was your plan for your life? And then we just tell them what a gift this child will be. And time and again over the years, we have seen these mothers blossom, and their children blossom, and they come back to the convent. In fact, one of our sisters, I think, can tell you the story of what was his name? Because he was at our Jubilee.
Zion, yeah. He's no longer little. Yes, that's right. That's right.
Tell us the story of Zion, the football player, please.
So one day the doorbell rang at our convent in Manhattan, where pregnant women live with us. It's just down the street from St. Patrick's Cathedral. And, usually at that door, it's women, women and babies coming to the door, sometimes homeless people. And so the doorbell rings, and this young sister goes, and it's a strapping young man and a couple other strapping young men. And she says, hi, may I help you? And he says, I was kind of born here. So here he was, 18 years after he was born, coming back for the first time. He was going to Yale. His football buddies were in town in Manhattan, and he's like, the first thing he wanted to do was come to the convent. So of course the cookies, the tea, the whole, and getting the sister who lived there when he was born to tell a story about him, when he was a baby. But one of the sisters called his mother and said, that was so nice of you to send him over to us. It brought us so much joy. And his mother said, oh no, you have to know that that's him. He could not wait to come and meet you and be in the place where he lived when he was a baby.
And see the difference that Sisters of Life made. Am I correct in saying that at the time when his mother came there, she was distraught and she was worried and frustrated, and you welcomed her in?
I'm currently in a crisis pregnancy mission in Phoenix. So it's amazing how the women come to us. They sometimes they come right to the door. Sometimes they call, sometimes they text, sometimes they're referred. One woman, one of my favorite stories, she was so anxious about being pregnant that she just started scrolling on her iPhone, panicked. She accidentally called us. You know how you could do that just with a finger swipe. One of the sisters saw we had a missed call, texts her and says, hey, we're the Sisters of Life. We walk with women who are pregnant. We'd love to connect. So if you can imagine not knowing you called us, she was like, oh, it was like direct from God. But there's so much fear. And we've come to know as Sisters of Life, perfect love casts out fear. So I love how Sister Mary said it. We're not social workers, so we're not like triaging with resources necessarily. We're sitting down and saying, tell us about you. Share your heart. Like, what was the dream? What if it could still happen? We believe in you. We see you. We have a lot of people behind us, and God has a lot of money, actually, that He loves to see mothers flourish. So as Sisters of Life, we really get to mother mothers, which is really beautiful. We uphold them and honor them and trust them and provide a way for them so that they can mother their children. So we have many missions. We have the crisis pregnancy mission. We have a mission that Sister Mary lived out for years, where pregnant women live in the convent with us, and for about a year during their pregnancy and then till after the baby's born. We have a retreat mission. Sister Mary Karen helped build up that mission, where we host weekend retreats every weekend for men, women, young adults of all ages. We have a mission of hope and healing for those suffering after abortion who just realize, wow, what a lie it was. What a betrayal. Because abortion always presents itself as like, oh, I'm a big eraser. We'll take back the past. It'll be like this never happened. But it really inflicts a new and very profound wound into the heart of women and men, because it goes to the core of who they are. Women are called to nurture, men are called to provide. And so it just hits at the core. So we have a whole mission of mercy to say that God is nothing but love and mercy, and he sees what happened, and he grieves with you, and he wants you back. So that's like watching the resurrection happen. So yeah, many ways that our charism expresses itself, but yeah, when the women come to us in crisis, yeah, we receive them as their sisters and with love.
Sister Mary Doolittle, you mentioned language and how powerful language is. We talk about language all the time in the work that we do. You really struck a chord there. The language that is used outside and the language that you use and how important that is. Maybe touch on that a little bit more. Why it's so important.
I began fighting California euthanasia legislation and assisted suicide legislation. I also had started to see, because I worked as a nurse for 15 years and I had worked ER, trauma, a lot of things. And I began to notice a change in the way people spoke about the patient. Like if it was a really busy day and they're really tired and kind of like, oh gosh, he was in here last week, maybe we should let him go. And it was almost like they didn't have the Mother Teresa vision. They didn't see this human person that stood before them that was God's beloved son or daughter. And that really bothered me so much because it's not about just quality of life. It's about loving them back to health. It's about reverencing them. You take the time to reverence someone. It's amazing. Like, it's the Mother Teresa vision. It's the language of the culture of life. One of my sisters, she's a physician and she entered from Ireland, and she said she was hearing the same thing as a doctor. She was hearing the thing. So I said, okay, get all of our newsletters. Our younger sisters are powerfully good at language. I go read all the newsletters, absorb all the language, learn to talk culture of life language, learn to speak in a way that you can speak. Like, how can we help this patient to flourish? I feel like everybody needs a Mother Teresa book, like, because Mother Teresa saw in every single human being Christ. And I lived in our mother's home for 10 years. And the homeless used to come to the door all the time. And they go, hi, how you doing, Jack? And they goes, oh, Sister Mary, I'm drinking again. I go, well, we got to get back up there and try again. They knew that they could come to us because we loved them. We don't fix people. We journey with them and we love them.
I think it's so great and makes so much sense. One thing that we use, one adage that we use is, words create worlds, and it can change mindsets and do some incredible good by just changing how you talk, what specific words you use, and loving on those. And I think you're seeing the difference that a couple words can make be very powerful.
We're going to have a short break, and then we're going to come back for the second half, and we're going to talk about a number of things. But it is fascinating. All sisters will have the 3 vows, but you have that 4th vow, which is so unique and so amazing to honor life, human life of all kinds. And as we're hearing right now, you have basically created a Mother Teresa brand guideline that says this is how we need to share our message. This is how we need to talk. So we'll be right back on Difference Talks. Thank you so much.
Difference Talks is a LaBeouf production. Our focus is differentiation, and we believe it's more important than ever to differentiate your brand and experience. Contact us at labeouf.com for a conversation. We'd love to connect with you.
Welcome back to Difference Talks, and I'm going to open this up with a question that each of you can answer. Our audience, getting to know you today, What might they be surprised to know about you personally? I will start with Sister Mary Doolittle. What might the audience be surprised about?
Well, it's interesting because I can remember one time during Easter, we were walking in Manhattan to a lot of the Easter liturgies. And it was so funny. This woman said to me, and I kind of died laughing because she said, "Oh, are you sisters out having a little fun today?" And I thought, what does that mean? Like, we don't have fun on a regular basis. Like, it just made me laugh because we're a community, we're a family, we have fun a lot. We have tons of bloopers, and we just die laughing. And I don't know, we're just really close. It's like there's something that's happened over the years because we were forming a new community. We were growing. We were learning how to be religious. We were sort of finding our way because it was a brand new community. And there's this bond between all of us now. It's like sometimes I think this might be funny to say, but I feel like we went through the war together. We're bonded together. Like we have each other's back all the time. And I don't know, there's just something very beautiful about that. And we play games together, and the sisters rollerblade. We kayak on the Hudson. I mean, we do all sorts of things. So, I mean, like we do have leisure, and we have fun, and we have retreats, and we have wonderful benefactors, wonderful people that come to us. I mean, it's such a privilege to serve lots of different people and just see God at work in each person.
Sister Mary Karen, what about you? What would people be surprised about?
I have an MBA. I've hang glided. My brother has a bourbon distillery. I'm from a crazy family.
Love that.
That's
Fantastic.
great. How about you, Sister Bethany?
A lot of times I think when people see sisters, they wonder, were you always that way, or did you always have a sense? And I always thought I'd be married, madly, married to somebody madly in love with me. And we would have our own litany of saints for children, Peter, James, John, Paul, Thomas, Philip, Bartholomew, Linus. And it took, when I was in college, like really praying and offering those desires to the Lord for the goods of marriage and motherhood, physical motherhood, and feeling like the Lord was saying back, would you love me? And would you love every child? And so I do think that would surprise people that we did, that we did have desires, for marriage and family life, but that God almost superseded them and like fulfilled our desires beyond our expectations. So that's something I always like to share.
I can definitely understand the rollerblading because that's one of my favorites. So yeah, I'm always outside. So definitely enjoy that.
We used to play roller hockey in the Bronx.
Is that right?
And Sister Mary Karen, tell me about the basketball and those poor guys next door, the students at the 8th grade.
No, that's a story not to tell. I took a charge from an 8th grader. And an 8th grader, I took a charge. Let me tell you, I haven't recovered.
Wow. Yeah. Well, we'll have to venture to New York because that's one of my favorite places. And St. Patrick's is one that we went to last summer with the kids. So that was incredible.
Oh, how beautiful. How many kids do you have?
We have two. Wow. 8 and 10.
Great.
Yep.
8 and 10. Oh my gosh. They must have loved it.
They loved it. Yeah. They had a blast. So 10-year-old was able to take the body. So that was really cool. And he thought that was really special to take the Eucharist there at St. Patrick's. And so my 8-year-old will be doing the same this year. So very special. So I guess to kind of flip it a little bit, what share some obstacles that you've faced, I guess, individually and your community as a whole. Again, challenging times, but what are some of those? And then, I'm guessing on the flip side, there's some positive to it as you faced them and overcome those.
I can start. We have a new obstacle. We have a new hardship, and it's called growth. I mean, it's tremendous. It's a tremendous gift, and it's we started in 1991, and with 8 young women who entered the convent, and now we're at 150-ish sisters, and the growth and infrastructure, and one of the great benefits is that we serve people as a gift, like God's giving it to us and we're giving it right back out. So we don't, thank God, make any money, from anything we do. So it's a great gift to us. And so, we have a little bit of a issue with, infrastructure, because, we serve, New York is the abortion capital of the world. It's where abortion was unleashed. And so we serve about 800 women a year in our missions, with pregnant women. So, so we're just having, new lovely issues figuring out how to, house everybody and stuff like that. It's kind of fun things, but still
Sure.
issues.
Yeah, still challenges, still need to be
Yeah.
faced. Yeah. Sister Mary Doolittle.
I came to the sisters in 94. And one of the things that Cardinal O'Connor, when he was getting ready to die in 2000, he was talking to us a lot about, because he was really a mystic. All of us kind of think he was a mystic. And he'd say, sisters, you are going to see attacks on human life like you never even believed possible. That's what he said to us. And he was so right. I mean, on the attacks of the human person, all the issues of people changing their identity. I mean, they're made in God's image and likeness, like all the identity changes. The kids are so confused, and it's just really a challenge. And then, like, many of our sisters are from Canada, and we have sisters from other countries now, and euthanasia and assisted suicide in Canada, like, they're signing up to kill themselves. And you're just going, what on earth has happened? Like, why, how can that be? Like, your life is sacred, and really, I want to share it because it's so much on my heart. And I think it's very difficult, because when I worked as a nurse, I was at the bedsides of the dying a lot, and it was such a privilege. And like, some man might find out on a Tuesday, I have cancer. And then in 2 months, he like gets his whole life together, because he knows he's going to go home to God. He gets his whole life together. He reconciles with his family when he's had a divorce. He gets his life together, his business together. He kind of has a reconciliation time. He comes back to church. And I saw this same man. He comes in 2 months later, and he was radiant with his kind of family that he kind of had reconciled with. And people that are having assisted suicide and thing, they have no time. They have no time to really, make decisions and to really kind of explore, to be ready for God. And so this idea that people like just want to choose suicide or something. So to me, it's very sad. And the young people have been very affected by social media as well, about they can recreate themselves. I mean, you don't even need to do that. God created you, and you have a purpose, and you have a mission in life, and you need to pray, and God will let you know what your purpose and mission is. It's social media has, truthfully done a lot of damage. And this kind of, thing, like, we're almost, there's a bill in New York right now for assisted suicide legislation. And I'm very concerned about it, because, people's lives have great value. It makes me worry about the elderly. It makes me worry, do they feel they're a burden? Like, what is going on that would make them choose this, choose this? So I don't know. I just had to say it, like, because it's
Good,
important to my heart.
You're right.
Mhm.
You're right.
Mhm.
Sister Bethany?
Yes. Yeah, challenges. So we're a crisis pregnancy mission, and we're on ASU's campus in Tempe, Arizona, which ranks between 1 and 5 for party schools. So we like to be where the party's at. So many of our college students entered the Catholic Church. I remember our first year there were 40, and they hadn't been raised with faith. Their parents had been like, hoped they'd figure it out and pick their own thing. But when they realized that God wanted a relationship with them and knew them and loved them, and they could be in conversation with him in prayer, when they could experience healing and answers to their questions. I mean, doors flew open, and they really embraced the freedom of being able to live in the truth of who you are, and accept yourself as a gift and to know that the world is awaiting your yes. So I do think that there's that cry of the heart that we get to hear. I hear it in the women that we're serving and walking with, why they're thinking about abortion, why they're scared, why they don't have hope, and it's something that you want to be able to receive and acknowledge and then direct and say, those desires in your heart, they actually matter. And there is someone who wants to fulfill them.
And can you share some of the positives that you're seeing right now? I think it would be absolutely great. I think Sister Mary Karen, you were bringing up a few that were pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think we're finding such a hunger for God, like I don't think we've ever seen before, and young people, and just seeking the Lord. I think last year was one of the largest numbers of people coming to faith in the Catholic Church in America. So I think that's tremendous. It's interesting. This younger generation gets a little like shortchanged, but they're real seekers, and yeah, they're not afraid to rock the boat in their family. Where if they are raised in a faithless family, they're not afraid to say, you gave me everything except something that was very important, which is God. And they're bringing their family in as well. It's just really beautiful.
That's
Yeah.
great. One thing we like to talk about is making a difference, and the three of you have made such a phenomenal difference. Marcus always has this question. I'll turn it to you.
Yeah, thanks. It's simply that. What is your best day? And from all the conversation that we've had, it's helping others. It's taking care of those that need help. But what is that really great day for you? It could be kayaking on the Hudson or playing ball with the 8th graders next door, but where you feel thrilled about what you've just done in the day. And if anything, you're excited and energized even at the end of the day. So what does that day look like for you?
And let's start with Sister Bethany.
We had two 19-year-olds who are pregnant, and the young woman is pregnant, and they were very abortion bound. And I went to our little storeroom to get them a present. And I was like, come, Holy Spirit, I need a present that'll somehow communicate something to them. So she had been just talking about how her dreams are now shattered. So there was a candle and it said dreams across it. And I was like, oh my gosh, the dream candle, flame of hope. So I grabbed that. And then there was a bag that some high schoolers had drawn us with like a tree of life on it and a Sharpie, super Etsy and cool and trendy. I put a toy in there and I was like, this will make him laugh, because she had told me he's not religious. He won't, he doesn't really even want to meet you. So I hand him the bag and I said, this is from Jesus. And he looks at the bag and he looks at me and he looked kind of scared. And I was like, oh, Jesus in my heart. Like, I didn't know where the mishap had happened, but he pulls up his sleeve. He has a tree of life tattooed on his arm, and it's his favorite symbol of the human family. And it like matches the bag. And he goes, how did you know that about me? And I was like, my friend, I could never know the secret tattoos on your body, but God knows them, and he knows you're here and he loves you. And I tell you what, we laughed really hard when he pulled out the toy. 8 months later, I was at the baptism of that baby girl, and I got to go back to the high school that had made us those bags and hand drawn them. And I started explaining it, and everyone in the room knew who had drawn that one. And she like blushed and was overwhelmed. But I was like, wow, you thought you were doing something small that day with a Sharpie. Like, you were the sign. You were the sign. And so I really makes me fall in love with God all over again, because I'm like, wow, he has the whole world. He holds the whole history of the world. He holds all of our hearts, and he's orchestrating something incredible using our very small little gifts. So it just made me, that is a day when I go back, I'm like, that was such an incredible day of feeling so loved, so provided for, and so in awe of his might and his power and his fatherhood. So that's my day.
Sister Mary Karen, who took a charge from an 8th grader in basketball.
and never played again. No, just kidding. Yeah, I really feel like every day you're called into your perfect day. Now, some days you feel like you're in that flow of grace. I call it stream of grace. I don't know what people call it, the flow. But I really like to try to, like, I'm in this office. Am I present to the present? Am I present to God's presence? Like, just, do I see the beauty before me in this day? Am I living what I'm called to do? Am I laughing? Hopefully. And I think of, like, Sister Mary Doolittle in the taxi car. She has this story. She and another, one of our volunteers were going to visit a woman who had given birth to a sick baby, and they're taking a taxi ride together. And Sister Mary says, "We're going to pray the rosary in the car." And the taxi driver, you have no idea what this meant to the taxi driver. He calls in his wife. It's like changes their whole life, So just being present to the presence, and, being in that flow of grace, even when you don't feel like you are, most days you don't feel like you don't have those special signs, but you are, and just surrendering that you are in that flow.
Wonderful. I love that. And Sister Mary Doolittle, what is that day where you go, oh, this is a best day?
Like, the one story I have that is kind of funny is, like, I was really having a difficult day, and it was when I was much younger in religious life, and we were taking a walk one night down in New Rochelle or something or other. And I said, "Boy, Jesus, I really could use a chocolate Hershey bar. I would love to have a chocolate Hershey bar." And, like, I turned the corner, and this person comes flying out of their house, and they looked at me and they go, "I don't know what happened, but I'm supposed to give you this chocolate bar." And I go, "Oh my goodness." And this person just comes flying out of the house, and he gives me a half-eaten Hershey bar, and he goes, "The rest is for you." And I go, well, he goes, "I'm supposed to give it to you." And I go, "Oh my gosh." And it was like a consolation, because God does give you consolations in those days. Like, he's our spouse, and he consoles us now, and he consoles us now and then. But because you're doing his work, but he's our spouse. And so it was such a blessing to me.
You're going to have chocolate companies fighting to be your corporate sponsor, Sister Mary.
I want to thank you for this. I have been a supporter of the Sisters of Life ever since I met Sister Mary Doolittle. How can somebody learn more? Where can they look?
Sure. So we have a website, sistersoflife.org, and that website has everything, all of our locations, all of our missions. There are many ways to get involved with us. So we have sisters traveling throughout the country, and that their calendar is up. So if you wanted to see where the Sisters of Life are and try and even meet in person, if you feel called to join our missions in some way, we have co-workers of life who are men and women who basically offer their time, talent, or treasure to support the women that we walk with, and offer their professional skills, or offer their heart, their friendship, or offer their finances to see those go to the building up of the culture. So on our website, you can find, there's a YouTube channel with different talks and original music of the sisters. There are our magazine that Sister was mentioning is online. You can see all of the magazines, and then there is a way to donate online if you feel called to support the mission even from afar.
And you have a podcast too, correct?
We have a podcast, Let Love, and it's in like its 15th season. And honestly, prayers. There were so many times where, like, a woman came to our door, or a woman found out about us, and Cardinal O'Connor would say, "Where did she get that grace?" And you just never know. Offering up your little crosses of the day or a prayer sometimes can make a woman get off the table and leave the abortion clinic and come to our convent instead. So we've seen miracles, and we know that it's the power of prayer. So please, thank you for your generous hearts.
Well, I want to thank the three of you today. I know Marcus feels exactly the same way, and Alan, our engineer, who is my son. feels the same way. The three of you are gifts. And it's so wonderful because what we learned today is, I thought I knew a fair amount, but I learned a lot more. It's so wonderful to be present to the presence, to be able to realize that each of you, you're human beings, you're going to have your challenges, but at the same time, you're going to focus on ultimately what is good, what is the right thing. And I thank the three of you. I hope our audience will go and explore. I hope you go and explore sistersoflife.org. It is actually, I say this as a marketing person, it's a really great website. It is amazingly in-depth and very advanced. It's not some small little venture here. So kudos to you. And when Sister Mary Doolittle said, oh, these young sisters have all this talent, they have an amazing amount of talent. So anybody in marketing, go there to learn from the Sisters of Life because they're telling their story. As Sister Mary Doolittle said, this is brilliant too. She talked about using the right language, the Mother Teresa language, so that the words we use do create worlds, and it's going to create the right world. So until next time, I'm Barry LeBove. This is Marcus McMillan. We have had a wonderful time with the Sisters of Life. Thank you very much, and I hope our audience truly enjoys this.
Thank you for joining us on Difference Talks. All of us at LeBove are proud to celebrate great people with inspiring messages. Difference Talks was created, produced, engineered, and performed by the LeBove team. Even the music is original. Contact us at lebove.com to learn how to differentiate your brand and give your team a sense of significance and meaning.